Hello class 7, this is Kaushalya, your social science teacher, and today we are going to discuss chapter 3, the changing earth. Today we are going to discuss the topic earthquakes. Many factors such as volcanic eruptions, movement of lithosphere plates or even bomb explosion can cause the surface of earth to shake. This shaking of earth's surface is called an earthquake, right? So when there is shaking of earth's surface, then it is called an earthquake. Now look at the figure. The place of origin of an earthquake is called focus. You can see it in the figure, right? So focus is the place of origin of earthquake. The point on the surface of the earth which is vertically above the focus, right? You can see the cross mark. Yes, that is epicenter, right? So the place of origin of an earthquake is called focus, and the point on the earth surface which is vertically above the focus is the epicenter of the earthquake. Vibration of an earthquake spread out as and concentric waves from the focus. You can see that the vibration spread as concentric waves and focus is the center. The intensity of the earthquake is maximum near the epicenter. So the intensity of the earthquake will be maximum near epicenter. Types of earthquake waves. According to the mode of travel, earthquake waves can be classified into three main types: primary waves, secondary waves, and surface wave. So what are primary waves? Please look at the figure A. Now in figure A, we don't have any wave, right? So this is the earth crust or surface of the earth when we don't have earthquake. Now when we look at figure B, you can see these are the primary waves. This is the example for primary waves. So what are primary waves? Primary waves or push waves are the first to arrive as they are the fastest. These waves usually travel at the speed of about 6 km per second. These waves cause relatively small displacement. Now you can see that in figure A, there is nothing you can say misplaced, right? Everything is on place. But in figure B, when we have primary waves, we have little displacement of the things on the surface of the earth. Now secondary waves. Secondary waves or shake waves are next to arrive. Now you can see in figure C, right? So when we have secondary waves, then they are the second to arrive after primary waves. We have secondary waves, and the rate of the movement is less than that of primary waves. These waves produce strong shaking action. They does not pass through liquids, right? So there is a strong shaking action done by these secondary waves, but they cannot pass through the liquids. Now you can see figure D. They are surface waves. Surface waves are the last to arrive and travel over the surface of the earth, right? So you can see the surface is moving. You can see it is curvy, right? So in figure A, we have a straight surface, but when the earth or the earth crust get surface waves, then there is a motion in the surface, right? You can see that the surface is curvy now. So these waves are very powerful and cause of the most of the damage. Their effect is not seen at the great depth, right? So there are three main waves: primary wave, secondary wave, and surface waves. Measuring of earthquake. Now let us see how to measure the earthquake waves. Measuring earthquake waves. The intensity of earthquake waves is measured on Richter scale. You can see the figure. The earthquake tremors are recorded by an instrument called seismograph. The science that deals with earthquake is called seismology, and the earthquake scientists are called seismologists, right? So The instrument which is used for measuring of the earthquake waves is seismograph, right? And the study, the science that deals with the earthquake, seismology, and earthquake scientists. The scientists who study about earthquake are called seismologists. Richter scale ranges from 0 to 9, as you can see here in the figure. An increase in 1 point on Richter's scale indicate that the force of earthquake is 10 times greater than the strength of the previous number. The earthquake of intensity 6 and above are very destructive, right? So, Richter's scale ranges from 0 to 9, and an increase in 1 point on Richter's scale indicates that the force of earthquake is 10 times greater than the strength of the previous number. The earthquakes of intensity 6 and above are very, very destructive. Worldwide, more than millions of earthquakes are recorded every year, and the intensity of earthquake is measured in relation to its effect on human life. Right? So, this is how we measure earthquakes. Distribution of earthquake. No part of the earth is free from earthquake, as you can see, right? We can see the distribution of the earthquake in this figure, but in some areas earthquake occur more frequently. The main earthquake belt on earth are: the first is Circum Pacific Belt. Circum-Pacific Belt includes the coastal margin of North America, South America, and East Asia. This region accounts for about 65% of total earthquakes of the world. This belt coincides with the Pacific Ring of Fire, right? So, Circum-Pacific Belt coincides with the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now the next one is MidContinental Belt. MidContinental Belt includes the Alpine Mountains, Mediterranean Sea, Northern and Eastern Africa and Himalayas. About 25% of seismic events are recorded here. Okay, so the next area or the next belt, right, which have maximum numbers of earthquake is Mid-Continental Belt, and it has about 25% of seismic events every year. Now the next one is Mid-Atlantic Ridge Belt. The Mid-Atlantic Belt includes Mid-Atlantic Ridge and adjoining islands. It records moderate earthquakes which are caused due to the moving of lithospheric plates in opposite direction. Earthquake belt in India is mainly confined to the Himalayan region and Ganga Brahmaputra Valley. About two-thirds of India is earthquake prone, and in last 50 years earthquakes have been experienced even in the Deccan Plateau area, which was relatively considered safe. The Indian or the Bureau of Indian Standards has divided India into 5 earthquake zones. Bhuj Earthquake of 2001. A severe earthquake struck the Kutch of region of Gujarat at 8:45 am on 26 January 2001. It lasted for almost a minute, right? So it was one of the devastating earthquake which has been experienced by the Kutch area of Gujarat. Due to the earthquake, high-rise building collapsed. Communication and power lines were completely disrupted, and the transport system was thrown out of gear, and the settlement became heaps of, you can say, ruins. Everything was destroyed. You can see even in the figure, right? Buildings have collapsed. There was a, you can say, a lot of destruction all over. The epicenter was near the town of Bhuj. The intensity of this earthquake was measured at 8.1 on Richter scale, and as we have discussed before that the earthquake which are measured more than 6 are very devastating, and here the earthquake measurement was 8.1 on Richter scale. About 50,000 people were killed and more than 5 lakh were adversely affected. Sea floor spreading of Indian Ocean at the rate of 5 centimeter per year. The gradual northward movement of the Indian plate and the reactivated faults below the surface in the Kutch region are some of the reason for the Bhuj earthquake, right? So these are the reason for the Bhuj earthquake. So let us see what we learned today. Alfred Wegener propounded the theory of continental drift, right? So to sum up, we discuss about the Alfred Wegener propound theory of continental drift, which shows or which says that earth was made up of large mass of you can say mass of continent or a supercontinent which is known as Pangea. The forces which originate from within the earth are called endogenic forces. The forces which originate on the surface of the earth are called exogenic forces. Volcano is a circular opening on the earth's surface. Active volcanoes erupt frequently. Dormant volcanoes have erupted for a long time, but possibility of their eruption is always there. There is no possibility of any future eruption in extinct volcanoes, right? So we saw the three types of volcanoes: dormant, active and extinct volcanoes. Then what is earthquake? The shaking of earth's surface caused by sudden movement is called an earthquake. The intensity of earthquake waves is measured on Richter scale, and we have seen that the main earthquake belts are Circum-Pacific, Mid-Continental, Mid-Atlantic ridge. Main earthquake belt in India stretches from Himalayan region to Ganga Brahmaputra valley, right? So these are the all points we learn in this chapter. I hope you have understood the topic, right? So this is all for today. Thank you.